Hello, once again, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Father of Mary Eze. I've always been very amazed by how mothers are able to know the needs of the little children, the babies, Once the baby, a year old, a month or 2 months or whatever, cries, the mother intuitively knows or is able to find out what the baby wants and what's going on and takes care of the baby. In our human relationship, I think one of the problems that we have that creates conflicts, that messes up our human relationships is understanding. Very often we are not able to understand each other, to understand the needs of the other person, the aches and the pains of the other person. And even when we understand, sometimes we lack what it takes to be able to take care of those needs for that person. And it's not that we are to be blamed as such. I think one of the problems is our human nature. We don't have what it takes to do all that. Think of understanding. I don't even understand myself fully. Not to talk of understanding you in your problems and difficulties. I am limited. Even when I understand myself, sometimes it's difficult for me to take care of myself, my own needs, talk less of taking care of somebody else's needs. But with God, that is different, God understands us. The way I think of it is God understands our needs. He understands my emotions, my joys, my anger, my hatred. God understands my aches and pains. God understands my weaknesses. God understands my spoken and unspoken needs. I think that God understands my bones. God understands my muscles, the veins inside me, the sinews of my muscle and everything. He understands even my hair. He says that all the hairs on my head are counted. He knows about each and every one of them. So God made me, so he knows me in and out completely, And yet many of us Christians doubt that God understands us, that God cares for us. So the gospel of today is taken from the gospel of Matthew chapter 20, verses 1 to 16. It is the story of a landowner who hired people to work for him, and then he ends up paying them, okay? And he went out in the morning, and at dawn, we're told at dawn. That means like 6 o'clock in the morning. And we're told that he met these people who laborers who are looking for someone to hire them. So he hires them and he agrees with them on how much to pay them. So let's take, for instance, here in the US, let's say $15 per hour, okay? That's what they agreed on. In Nigeria, probably $5,000 for the whole day, or $6,000 for the whole day, average kind of, And so he goes out at dawn and hires these people. And then he goes out again at 9 o'clock in the morning and hires more people. And then he goes out again at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and he hires people. And then he goes out again at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And he says to them, "Why are you standing here?" And they said, "Nobody has hired us." He hires them. Then he goes out again at 6 o'clock in the evening. And he sees some people who are standing there. He says, "Why are you here?" He said, "We've been here all day long and nobody has hired us." So he goes ahead, he hires them. Probably an hour later, the day was over. And he says to the man in charge, the foreman, "Go ahead and pay each person." And so the people that came at 6 o'clock in the evening, okay, so 1 hour. They just worked for an hour. So instead of giving them $15, which is just the payment for the hour, he gave them the full amount. So I was calculating that. So that would be $15. I'm not good at mathematics. $15 times 12 hours, okay, from 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So that would be $180. So instead of paying them $15, he gave them $180. So the other people were like, wow, this is looking good. We're going to get more, okay? And the people that came at 3 o'clock, he gave them their own portion. I calculated that it's supposed to be about $135, okay? Hold on now. The people that came at in the morning at 6 o'clock, he gave them $180. The people that came at 9 o'clock in the morning, he gave them $135, and so on and so forth. And so those that came at 6 o'clock that worked for 12 solid hours were angry. They were like, why are you paying us the same amount that you paid to these guys? Why? You know? So why did the landowner pay the same $180 to those at 6 o'clock who worked for an hour and those at 6 o'clock in the morning who worked for 12 hours? Okay? How we can understand that is because the landowner, which is God, is compassionate, understands the people in the story. That's the beauty of the story. The laborers didn't request. Those that came at 6 o'clock in the evening didn't say to the master, oh, master, you know, we have family, we have children to feed, we have school fees to pay, we have bills to pay, we have this and that. They didn't say anything. They were probably just hoping for that 1 hour pay, which is $15, okay? Or maybe $1,000 in Nigeria. And they didn't complain, they didn't request. But the master, the landowner, right away knew, like the mother who has a child that is crying. Think about it like this. If at the end of the month you worked for 30 days, your employer pays you for 30 days. At the end of the month, somebody else worked for 1 day and the employer pays the person the same amount. It's because the employer is thinking, if I don't pay this person for this 1 month, that means they cannot feed their family. That was what the landowner was thinking about, again, which is God. So the question for me is, we normally gravitate, move towards those who understand us. The person that understands who I am, the person that understands my needs, the person that understands my aches and pains, my emotions, spoken and unspoken needs. That's the person I gravitate towards. That's the person that we gravitate towards. That's why you have husband and wife who love themselves, who care for each other. They understand these needs and other things, you know, and we love each other. Father and mother, children and parents, siblings, and so on and so forth. Anybody that loves and that really understands us, we gravitate towards that person. God understands us. Think of it in this way, being in sync, okay? Anybody in sync with us, we gravitate towards that person. God is in sync with each and every one of us. And the people that are in sync with us become our best friends. How do they say it? Best friends forever. Best friends forever. So my question this morning is, if God understands us, if God is in sync with me, why is it that I'm not gravitating towards God as much as I should? Sometimes I gravitate towards other human beings more than I gravitate towards God, who actually understands me. We gravitate towards other human beings who take advantage of us, who are weak, who are limited, who don't help us as much as possible. But then we stay away from God, who is in sync with us, who knows how to take care of us. See, the landowner knew or had money, so he had the ability to pay them more. God is like that. God has the ability, he has what it takes to take care of us, to pay us more. When we move away from God, we gravitate towards people who don't satisfy these needs and will never be able to satisfy all our needs. So the challenge is that we should, gravitate towards God. Matthew chapter 10, verse 26, Jesus talks about, are not two sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground outside your Father's care. And even the very hairs on your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. You're worth more than many sparrows. So God is in sync with you. God knows every fiber of your being, every muscle, every ache, every pain, every bone in your body. He knows all that. He knows what you need. He knows what you're going through. So may we have the grace to gravitate towards that God who is compassionate and loving. Watch out for a second video, and I'll be talking about following Jesus bumper to bumper. That's what I thought. We should follow Jesus bumper to bumper. Really. So may God bless you on this Sunday or on this day, whenever you're watching this, and give us the grace to follow him and make him our BFF, best friend forever. In Jesus' name, amen. May God bless you.